Don't be afraid of hearing rejection. Don't be afraid of facing rejection. Don't be afraid when you feel lonely. Don't be afraid when you feel scared. Don't let that stop you. The countries that I grew up in when I was very, very young, they were always countries which were, you could say that had a lot of people who were, living below the poverty line as we do here. And so it's something I've always been exposed to because my mom has done charity work. So I've always been exposed to that life. We didn't grow up in a life of privilege. We didn't grow up in a life of luxury. We had a very frugal and very, very, very basic childhood. So that's the life I come from. Whether just because it wasn't, just because my gaon was, I didn't grow up here, it doesn't mean that I've not seen it. That's exactly where we come from. I came from starting out working in the industry, having absolutely no money and needing to work to be successful. And if I was not going to make it successfully, I would have had to, look for another job where I could, secure myself or have security. What I've done in my life in the last quite a few years in the industry, everything that's happened. This last year has been a very, you could say, tumultuous year in a way for me. A lot of changes in my life. And I think whenever there are big changes in your life, you do reflect a little bit on, what you have done in the past, what has brought you to this point, whether it's good or bad. And I think what that does is it kind of starts to force you to look inside and kind of see what are the things that really matter to you and what do you really want at this point in your life, because it's not as if you're just starting out in your career and everything is all stars in your eyes and big fancy dreams. Or if I'm speaking for myself, I had a lot of dreams and visions which I was fortunate enough and lucky enough to achieve. But then what do you do? I'm today, I'm 33, you have your whole life ahead of you. What do you now do? You have to create or you have to envision new dreams and new goals for yourself. And I think that is probably the best way for me to describe to you. I think life has a way of forcing things to happen, and there comes these phases where I think you can try and you can do everything you want, but life is going to take its own course, and you just have to learn in those times to be patient, because you can force and you can scream and you can yell and cry and you can hit your head against the wall, but you kind of know deep in your heart that what's going to happen is going to happen in its own time. This is out of your control. I started quite early in the film industry. I started when I was just before 18. For me, I think till date, the thing I can say that gives me the most happiness and the most pride and the greatest sense of fulfillment is the fact that by the grace of God, I have been able to look after my family and I have been able to keep my family together.
But how young were you when you had to start doing that?
Well, I think it was never a spoken thing. It was just something which I think it was the way things kind of worked out. We are super tight together. I have 6 sisters and then there's me, so there's 7 girls. I really feel that I'm extremely blessed and extremely lucky to have an entire support system in my own family. I mean, just think about it. Like, see, just count the girls on this row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're so close. Just now, my sister got married in Colorado, and we were all there together, getting ready and wearing our dresses and really excited. And I was just looking around the room and feeling that how blessed I am really to have a family like this and to have that kind of love and support from my sisters. And I'm so proud of all of them. I mean, we have 3 doctors in our families, not medical doctors, but PhDs. We're all so unique. We have 1 brother, 1 boy in the family. When I was, in my teenagers, just stepping into the film industry, finding my voice, there were many actually, incredible guys who were the ones to encourage me in the path I was on and to find my voice. One of them being Kabir Khan, who was my first director I worked with in New York, and then we went on to do the Tiger series, Ek Tha Tiger. So I think probably the roles that I look to now need to have a little bit more personality. I think before I was There is a phase in our life, I think, when we're in our early teens and we're still discovering ourselves and we're having fun and life is seeming really fun. Like, I remember being on the sets of like Singer's King and Welcome and just everything in the world seemed so happy and fun. And that's what I was doing. I was having just a really, really good time, and I was enjoying being part of this incredible world of cinema. Today when I hear a script, I kind of just hear it like this, and all I'm hearing to do is to hear if there's something that I emotionally connect to in the story. I wouldn't have done that before because I think my emotional intelligence was not fully developed. Now when I hear something, I look for something I could connect to, like in Bharat, the film which I did last. I felt that I could connect to the emotions that she was feeling. You know, being alone, working in this kind of very male-dominated environment, the kind of way she had to kind of demonstrate or enforce her authority at the workplace without being overbearing. So there were so many different things that I could just find, that I could see myself being able to mentally connect with this character. In Zero, I felt that was, again, a very interesting portrayal, a very interestingly written character that had a lot of layers to it. And I think that's where I'm finding my enjoyment in my work now, is just making sure that I connect on an emotional level. Just be careful what you fear for, because what you fear usually becomes your reality. So for me, I see it a little differently. I like to be very clear in my head that what I want to achieve, and not get burdened down by the typical stereotypes, and not get burdened by the thoughts that other people might be thinking or might be saying about me in any area of my life. If I have a clear vision in my head what I want to achieve in my work, in the workspace, in cinema right now, then that's all I'm focusing on. I'm not focusing on what other people are saying. I feel that if we are looking over our shoulder and around us at what people are saying about us and taking that to heart and letting that weigh us down, we are diverting our energy and our attention from where it should be, which is creating and doing what we want to do. And nobody can tell me what I want to do and what I can do. That's for me to decide. And if you believe in yourself and you believe in your dreams and you're clear about what it is that you want to achieve, then I don't even let what's happening on the left and the right, or let people's comments or the naysayers, I don't even let that come into my vision. I would just feel that people were so quick to make assumptions and judgments without really giving you a chance of getting to know you. Don't be afraid of hearing rejection. Don't be afraid of facing rejection. Don't be afraid when you feel lonely. Don't be afraid when you feel scared. Don't let that stop you. You know, I think what was a great learning for me is that, you know, courage is not the absence of fear. It's the perseverance in the face of fear. So don't let these things stop you. Don't let them stop you, because you know what happens? When I used to do this a lot, I used to look at other successful people, even my colleagues, and feel, oh, you know how they're doing this? Because they're not insecure. They're not scared of anything. Oh, they have absolute belief in themselves. And one day I realized that, hey, one second, that's probably not true. I think every one of us, and definitely me, we wake up in the morning, on some days it's a great day, and on some days you feel insecure, you feel you look terrible, you feel you're not doing good, you feel all the insecurities that we can feel. You have to face that and keep on going. Don't let that stop you, because most of the time it's not other people who stop us, it's ourselves and our own fears.